Hi, and welcome to the Emerald Rank Up game, I guess. This was pretty quick for some reason, although it does match my expectations. Now, before I actually start the commentary, I do have to skip the run a bit for a while here because this rank up game is very long, and I'd rather not keep you here for about 20 minutes, so let's just skip to the part where I die and basically reset the world. Oh. Ah! Okay, I guess we can start here. Honestly, it's quite funny I died on my rank up game to Emerald because it does tie in to what I want to say regarding to the gold experience. Um, but for now, let's talk about the seed. It's a ruined portal seed with no iron pickaxe, which is one of my least favorite variants. My least favorite variant is really the ones where I have to craft a bucket and use the lava pool in the ruined portal because that's just my least practice version of another portal basically. Uh, but for now, this is my least second least favorite because these seeds are pretty fast, and I just don't have the flowchart of decision making like set in my head yet of knowing what to do. But like for this one in particular, I don't think I did too bad. I'm not sure if people still craft stone tools at this point, but I did it anyway just to be safe, and I did get pigs here, so that's pretty good, and they were pretty close, so that's fine. Now, the reason why I died in the seed beforehand does tie into the fact that I didn't have an iron pickaxe, and that's the fact I did start the route without an iron pickaxe, and that made me lose a bunch of time and like unnecessary damage on the way to getting an iron pickaxe in the rampart. But even then, once I did finally have the iron pickaxe, I played aggressively by starting the route on the bridge directly instead of just going down to the basin, which I probably should have done to be safer. And I probably wouldn't have died at that point, right? Now, speaking of dying, I feel like that just encapsulates the whole gold, like being in gold experience is that um, dying at this level still feels acceptable at times because you can still make a comeback. And I feel like gold is probably the last rank where you can die and pretty much still find a way to win if you lock in. I feel like at Emerald, I feel like when I do Emerald at some point, dying just doesn't become acceptable anymore, right? So gold is just the last threshold where you can just die and still somehow make a comeback because everyone is still a bit slow at this level of the game, right? Now, to talk about the route to Emerald as a whole, like the statistics, it took me 16 games to reach Emerald, with a win rate of 13 to 3. So 13 wins, 3 losses. Uh, for those 3 losses, 2 of them were because I died, of course, right? One of them I died on the way to the stronghold, and I was minutes ahead on that specific run. So I think being like playing that fast, going into the stronghold was just a misplay in my part, and I probably should have played slower to secure the win. The second one, on the other hand, I actually died in the bastion early, but my opponent kept that lead throughout the entire run, and I couldn't make a comeback. So that's just what it is with dying, right? And then the last one was the only time where we both didn't die, but I just lost due to bad decision making because um we entered we entered the bastion like from the top with a buried stables rampart, right? And I didn't really know what to do at that point because I didn't recognize what that part of the bastion was, and I decided to go to the bottom part of stables. My opponent digs down from the top, and there he's greeted with a triple, but not just one triple, but all 3 triples. So at that point, you're basically prompted to do triple triple as your bastion route. Meanwhile, I go to the bottom, and the top part is buried, so I don't know what the rampart is, and I just start the route there. So I lose significant time from just not having the chest, and that's basically how I lost all my time. My opponent just gained like 2 minutes off of that, and I could not make a comeback from it, basically. So those are my losses. Now, as for my 13 wins, it wasn't smooth either. I died on 6 of them, but I still made it back and won somehow. And it's a good thing, I still tried, because I made it, I've agreed with myself not to forfeit matches and basically tried to win regardless of the situation. And it did work out for me because with those 6 deaths, I was able to I managed to claw back and win. One of them in specific was very interesting because I died 4 times in one match. I died going to the fortress the first time because I made a bad pro throw. Then I proceeded to die 3 more times trying to go back there before I finally got back. And then my opponent was in the stronghold while I was still starting the fortress, and it was very demoralizing at the time. But I'm really glad I pushed on because like when it finished, it was like a not like a it was a moment of relief, yeah. But it also felt like, you know, you can really pat yourself in the back for trying or like not giving up, right? Basically. So yeah, it's a good thing I didn't forfeit, and I plan to not. I plan to continue not forfeiting just to keep building this resilience mindset, basically. So yeah. Now, to move on from this statistics thing, I just want to talk about my expectations going into this, right? Because, uh, entering the ranked placements as gold 2 was a bit higher than I expected. Because I expected around iron 3 or gold 1 for my level, so entering gold 2 was pretty high, and I did expect to lose. However, I also had an expectation where if I wanted to hit Emerald, all I needed to do was not die and just hit sub 20s. That's basically what I thought what all it took to get Emerald. And it kind of was true. A lot of how I lost was just dying, and a lot of how I won was just my opponent dying as well, right? So I'm glad my expectation was met there. Now that I'm in Emerald and I have to make my way to Diamond, the next move from here on out is just to play more consistently, right? Uh, to play more consistently and a bit fast, so that it's a lot like, so I'm thinking sub 15 average. Basically the point is just to play consistently and fast, and I feel like you can hit diamond at that point. And I'm pretty sure at diamond is at the stage where a lot of how you win games is just micro time save, assuming both opponents play perfectly. And that's why I haven't mentioned anything about micro time saves throughout my videos, because I'm simply just not at that level where micro time saves play a huge part into why I win or lose a match. A lot of it just becomes, oh, I didn't die here, or my opponent didn't die here, or I didn't do some stupid thing here or that, or something like that, right? It's nothing about like some weird micro time save, niche tech, or whatever, right? It's all about just playing consistent and not dying. I do expect that later on in Diamond, it'll probably be micro time saves, and I'm kind of excited when I get to that point. But I feel like that's still far in the future. So for now, let's just not talk about that, right? Um, but like from Diamond to Netherite is where it really like becomes just micro time save and zero cycles basically. As for my plans for zero cycles, I'm just gonna announce it here. I don't plan to use zero cycles until I hit diamond. I feel like that might be a bit much for some people. I don't really know. Someone tell me in the comments if that's impossible. But in my head, I kind of want to hit diamond without the zero cycle for numerous reasons. But for one, and more importantly, it's just to build up that fast pace consistency for the rest of the entire run. I don't want zero cycles to be the one thing I have like up my sleeve that makes me win matches, right? I kind of want to hold that back for when I actually do get fast enough. So for now, I kind of want to build this consistency of being a fast player for like the rest of the entire run until the end, where like maybe my opponent pulls off a zero in a close match and they just win the match. I'm fine with that. I just want to make it so that I'm ahead by my opponent by just pure pace alone on every other part of the run before I have to start doing zeros. And when I get to diamond, that's when I'll start using zeros to catch up with everybody, right? But yeah, enough of that. Like what's in the future, right? For now, I'm in Emerald, the start of Emerald. I might D rank, I might go up, who knows? But for now, the next thing to do is to start improving more, right? And I have a list right here of what things I should improve on. Uh, but the main point of this improvement is to just internalize a lot of the small major parts of the run uh, as habits, so I can focus more on the decision making and the micro stuff, right? Because in my head, that's how people come up or start thinking about their micro time saves, right? Because the only reason why you'd have room to like mention all these micro time saves is because you're at that point in the game where a lot of the major decision making is automatic. The moment you see it, for top players, it's basically, oh, I know what to do, and a lot of their brain power is spent more on the smaller things, which I just don't have yet, right? So that's what my next stage is in terms of improving. Now, as for concrete steps, one major part is just to basically improve the bastion. I did mention this before, but my bastion splits are still bad and are pretty bad, and I should work more on some more of the routes and just basically getting faster in general. But specifically for routes I want to learn, one, we can have specifically stables triple the gap from any right or left triple going down to a bad gap. Basically, what I mean is when you go down from the triple rampart, sometimes there's like a two by two gap, 2x2 hole that you can determine whether or not it's a good or bad gap. I know what to do when it's a good gap, but when it's a bad gap, I'm kind of like confused as to what to do, and I have to make some impromptu pathway, is that the right word? Temporary pathway all the way to the middle so that I can start my route there. I feel like I should learn the bad gap to the good gap variant of triple the gap, basically. Now, another stable shot I should learn is triple triple, but specifically that's just because I don't wanna. The reason why I haven't learned that route is because that route is inherently linked with double triple, and I've basically agreed I'm not gonna do double triple because double triple is more of a high roll route that I don't want to force on myself because I'm still low level, basically, right? So, um, but when it comes to triple triple, I feel like that's a lot more stable, right? So at that point, I should just learn the double triple setup, but for triple triple, basically, right? Another route I should probably get used to more is just housing manhunt. This is not because I'm bad at manhunt. I'll just roll that there because I need to practice it more. That's all, basically. Um, Next is Sug route. For bridge because I don't know Sug route. I know DK, and that's the one for left triple usually, or just triple triple in general. But if the right is triple, I people perform what is called Sug route, if I'm correct, which is like you place the gold block in the middle and you make the platform from there on. I feel like I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm right. I'll search it up after making the video, and I'll just put the captions on the screen. Basically, I want to learn Sug route because in Bridge, I feel like that's mostly like the two main variants, which is either DK or Sug, and I feel like I should just learn Sug route just to get that in my system like as early as possible. Then, lastly, for Bastion stuff is to basically just learn every Bastion without an iron pickaxe and make that a habit, basically, so that I don't look stupid every time I play a Ruined Portal Seed without it. So yeah. Beside Bastion stuff for like major practice, just terrain nav to Bastion and to Stronghold in general. I don't think mine is bad, but I can definitely get better at terrain nav, and I probably just want to practice more on that so that it's more intuitive, and I just develop a better game sense of like which parts of the terrain are open or not, basically, right? Now, as for minor time saves, or not minor times, more like minor parts of the run I want to practice. First is swords in fortress splits, and I don't know why I don't practice fortress splits with swords, which I should do more because whenever I do get a run with a sword in it, and I try to use it in the fortress, it just doesn't look as efficient as it is supposed to be. So I should practice more of that in the future, right? Another thing I should practice more is the Pydar overlap, specifically in housing or stables bastions. If you don't know what I mean, basically, whenever you're mining the gold blocks in housing or stables, players will usually overlap the Pydar setup, so that by the time they leave the hole, they can already determine where the fortress is. And I've been trying to do that, but one thing that comes with doing the Pydar overlap is actually setting up the pie chart in the first place. And I learned that players set up the pie chart in the overworld before they even enter the nether. And that's something I should do more as a habit on like most of my seeds. So that by the time I get to the housing or stables bastion, I can just immediately overlap the Pydar so that I can get the fortress, basically. So yeah, it's something I have to get used to because I'm like my brain is still not like internalizing changing the pie chart before entering the nether, right? So I should practice that a bit more. Um, Next is fast looting. I have tried fast looting and I do get how it works, but please someone tell me that I don't need my hotkeys to fast loot because I don't want to fast loot with specifically hotkeys. There has to be like a hotkey-less fast loot because how are people's fast? Okay, wait, let me calm down. How are people fast looting in the bastion when their hotbar is full? Like I need to understand that. Like someone tell me the best fast loot setup so I can learn it, please. Oh my, please. Okay. Next is search crafting. I do a bit of search crafting already, specifically for the fortress split. But I feel like I just need to get faster at it basically. But along with search crafting is basically just better pre-crafting in general. I should pre-craft a lot more when pearling. I do that for nether bricks, but I feel like I can do that for wool and glowstone as well. And I should do that more purposefully so that I don't have a harder time in the fortress split, especially when I start incorporating swords so that like I can get a faster fortress split basically. And then lastly is basically speed bridging. I can't speed bridge consistently. I'm that bad at mechanics. I can't speed bridge consistently, and it's something I should probably start practicing from now on if I wanna consider even doing like zero cycles in the future. But even not even just zero cycles, it's just bridging in general. I think in this run you saw me just bridge to the stronghold chunk or the stronghold location in the nether, and you can save significant time if you just bridge basically, speed bridge. But I don't speed bridge because I don't really know how to speed bridge without having to fall, so I end up just losing time there, and I feel like I should just get better at that, right? I should just practice even if if I'm bad at it, right? And that's basically it for how much I want to improve. Or like the stuff I want to improve at, right? Going back to the run, I guess I'm not in the end yet. Oh yeah, I only have like was it 3 bed, 1 anchor, and I'll end up looking for a library here. But at some point when I go back, I just end up not finding the library, and I end up just saying, "Fuck it, we ball." Like look, okay, I'm gonna leave the part of my voice where I end up just saying we go in, or like I basically tell myself to, or I basically convince myself that we're just sending it. Wait, let me just wait. Dude, me when I want a library, hello? Pocket ROM sending. Holy shit,
Yes,
I'm
yeah, and
sending.
I know just sending it, and it's a pretty risky move because having to only like 4 explosives, the dragon is risky. But I did realize like at the end here, I do have a crossbow, so I think I already knew it from just playing here. But the plan is to just simply crossbow all open crystals, and then try to 4 bed. If I don't 4 bed, I just get the cage crystals and just arrow the dragon down, basically, right? So inherently the 4 bed like only 4 explosives play was fine, but I end up losing a lot of time here from just the setup or like from entering the end. Honestly, I could have just entered the end at that point if I was sending it, right? And plus I died, so I feel like sending it should have been the optimal play in the first place. But yeah, I'm already ahead here by my opponent, so I feel like my play here was fine. Definitely could have been here a lot earlier though. Oh, but yeah, that's basically it for how much like this Emerald rank up game is. It'll probably be a while until I make another rank up video because my next rank is Diamond basically. So yeah, I'll be leaving it there. This will be the end of my commentary, and I'll kind of just speed up this footage after the half bowl so that we can skip directly to the 1 cycle in my reaction. So yeah, see ya.
Oh my gosh. Please, 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 please. Yes! Oh my god! How the fuck? Dude, oh my goodness, I was so bad. I was actually so bad. I don't want to make this into a video though. Oh no! Oh my goodness. Frick. I don't like that match. I don't want that to be a video. Low key?